This is the third in our best practice sharing sessions, it's the University of Montpellier that will be sharing with us examples of what is working really well for them and what has been involved in setting that up. So this is part of the sharing sessions across all of the universities are doing the same. So the project that we're going to hear about, or the presentation we're going to hear about, is called ASAP, a Sustainable Approach by Polytech Montpellier. And it's being presented by Professor Jean-Louis Bantignies. Welcome, Jean-Louis. Jean-Louis is professor in Polytech Montpellier Engineering School, which I believe is one of the constituent colleges of the University of Montpellier. And Jean-Louis will tell us about the sustainable development approach of the engineering school, which has been in place for about 10 years. And we'll hear about its structure and examples of some of its projects. Jean-Louis will be joined by Mathis Bourrat. Welcome, Mathis, who will present one of the projects, MOBILAN. So over to you, Jean-Louis. Very much looking forward to hearing about your work.
Thank you. So I will share my screen. Okay, it's okay. Okay, so thank you very much for your kind introduction. It's a pleasure for me to present you our sustainable approach by Polytech Montpellier. It's also a pleasure to present this talk with one of our students, a fifth year student, Mathis Bourrat, who will present you a mobile application dedicated to sustainable development at the end of the talk. Firstly, a few words about Polytech. Polytech is a graduate engineering school of the University of Montpellier. It delivers an engineering diploma which have the equivalence of a master, allowing to register in thesis. You are here on the right. Sorry, maybe I will use. Okay, you have here on the right the organization of the studies. Is 5-year studies with the 2 first years dedicated to preparatory classes, and then 3 years of engineer degree. For this engineering school, we have 10 majors. You have here the detail of the majors with the different department, 10 departments. We have 1,400 students and 300 graduates per year. Polytech Montpellier belongs to a national network, which is the largest French graduate engineering networks. The Polytech Group is under the authority of the French Engineering Qualification Commission. It was awarded the title of École Polytechnique Universitaire de Montpellier for our school. You have here the key figures of the network with 15 universities, 12 scientific fields, and 68,000 engineers. Here you have a fresco of our sustainable approach over the 10 last year. In fact, the sustainability initiatives began in 2010 with, in fact, an acute vision for us that we could train our students without preparing them to the necessary societal transition challenges. So we first carried out an evaluation of the environmental impact of the school in 2010. This led to our first carbon footprint. An interesting point is that in a certain way, it was quite frustrating for our students to realize that they can only have control over a portion of our impact that they could influence. It was also the time where there was the first Student Sustainable Development Club. We were very proud of that, and we published our first Sustainable Development Report. It appeared rapidly that to build a global strategy to consolidate our approach and we decided to work with an equal effort on the 5 pillars of the sustainable developments, so governance, formation, environment, research, and social. And in fact, you have here the different work performed on the different pillars. And firstly, concerning the governance, we first draft a sustainable development policy, and our priority was to work on raising awareness of our students. And this led for the formation to what we called Sustainable Development Evening, with the conference, debate, roundtable, movies, well, here a photo. And concerning the environment, it was very important for us to show to our students that our environmental impact is very important. That's why we decided to work on a display of our energy consumption. And there was at this time the first display of electrical consumption. It's a project who was developed with our students. And also concerning the social pillar, there was a drafting of a gender equality charter, women, men, on appointment of a referent on these issues. We quickly benefited from a strong support of our school, which allowed us to enter in the more professional practice, and especially in an approach of continuous improvement. So we obtain resources, and especially a very important point was the recruitment of sustainable development quality engineer and budget for sustainability initiatives. This led to significant results, and from 2016, the important point was that 100% of the training program integrating sustainable development issues. There was also concerning environment, selecting, sorting of the waste. And we have a very dynamic student club called Poly-Earth. I love their logo, and they published a very interesting eco guide, which is available on our website, with a lot of very nice idea about sustainable development, and they organized a local organic food basket for students, for example. We were awarded in 2016 for our dynamic by obtaining the French Sustainability Development Label for higher institution. In fact, we were on the 10th first certified establishment in 2016, and it was renewed in 2021. And also this year we participate to two contests, one at the national level and one at the national and international level, and it was quite nice because we were the winner in both cases with the title of Responsible Campus of the Year. Now, concerning our perspective, there's obviously a lot of prospect. Important point for us is the internationalization of our sustainable dynamic. As training is our art of work, we have also a commission dedicated to transversal sustainable training. And also we have a sustainable innovation research track. Now to improve and to extend our dynamic, we work also at the level of the Polytech National Network, and we animate a group. And in this case, we obtained this year quite nice result with the drafting of Sustainable Development Charter, which was signed by all the 15 directors of the Polytech School at the national level. And this charter is very engaging. So it it's a very good point for us. Also, obviously, we're involved to the university component, especially for training concerning sustainable development. You can obtain more detail about our dynamic by reading the report, Sustainable Development Report of Polytech Montpellier. They are available on our website here, and you can download them. We have a report from 2013, and the last one is, I see, it's a mistake. The last one is 2020. Now, I would like to give you some feedbacks on experiences on sustainable development at our school. And on different points, the first one is awareness and then training. And finally, I would like to finish by giving you some example of student involvement on this topic. Concerning awareness, we organized for year what we call sustainable development evenings. What does it mean, evenings? In fact, that means that we have a conference, and then we have a roundtable, and then a shared time with the speaker, where the students are able to have a kind of aperitif dinner with the speaker to discuss. You have here the different poster for the topic of our sustainable development evenings. You can clearly see that we are mainly on two topics, environment and social. And now for some specific topic, it was sometimes difficult to have, I would say, quite efficient discussion with our students, so we tried something else. I would like to show you an example concerning the awareness of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And in the framework of an undergraduate engineering summer school we organized called FLOW. We have 20 nationalities and 15 universities. This school, in fact, is directly connected to sustainable development. You can clearly see here the different topic of the school. And in this framework, we have what we call the tutored cross-disciplinary project on sustainability. And in fact, the aim of the project is to work on the 17 Sustainable Development Goals established by the United Nations, with the objective, which is to work in group from different cultural and scientific disciplines in order to write the specification of innovators for an innovative product or service corresponding to one of the goals. In fact, you have three different steps. The one is obviously for the student to choose a goal, and then to try to think about an idea, why, for whom, and then how to improve, to reduce impact. So the challenge is how. In this year, you are here the student project, which were connected to all the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And it was quite interesting to notice that, in fact, the solution proposed were directly connected by the education of the student, meaning that they were, in fact, geographically oriented. The solution for people from East are completely different from the solution proposed by people from the West side. Okay, so now I would like to come on teaching sustainability in our engineering school. And we also we have a commission working on this point. And here you have the organization of the dynamic. So the first point was the assessment of the existing connecting courses of sustainable development in the department of the school. And here you have the result with the hourly volume of teaching in hours connecting to sustainable development for the different departments. One department is color. So for example, green is material science department. So, and it's the number of hours is for the 3 years of disciplinary training, meaning for all the engineer degree. You can clearly see here that, in fact, we have a significant amount of hours. But then when we identify the topic related to sustainable development, it appears that most of the hours dedicated to sustainable development are connected to core business, language teaching, and risk and safety. And in fact, the part dedicated to the core of the topic, sustainable development and social responsibility, is very small, with just 2%. So we decided to propose transversal training focused on sustainable development issues and integrated on the 3 year of engineer degree with 4 blocks. And in fact, the first point is that why do we have 4 blocks for the 3 years is that we consider that it's not possible to envisage a training of such transversal topic without common awareness on the topic, which is quite homogeneous. That's why the block 1 is called raising awareness about transition. And then we also think that it's not possible to envisage the solution without having understood the problem. That's why the block 2 is understanding physical phenomena, measurement, and order of magnitude in connection with ecological transition. And then in the block 3 and 4, we envisage a solution. Concerning the tool for such transversal domain, we consider that we have to use all the tools available. So meaning that from serious game, for example, here questionnaire, especially this is dedicated to the block 1, and then movie, conference, debates, and of course classical courses, project, etc. Now, I would like to go on the last part of the talk, dedicated to example of student projects in the service of the school sustainable development approach. You have here different photos connected to engineer projects, which are in fact directly linked to the art of work of an engineer. For example, for a student in the Department of Science and the Techniques of Water, you have here the cleaning the bed of a river from an invasive species, or a dispositif of an apparatus for desalination of water. Here for people from electronic department, an apparatus for nautical energy efficiency, and here where we'll share the call for the future. But I would like here, in fact, present you some project directly connected to the carbon footprint impact of our school. You are here in percentage the CO2 emission of the school, and in the context of our school, you can clearly see that they are dominated by the journeys, including travel abroad and daily movement for 62%. You have here the detailed carbon assessment for the travel item, and in fact, is dominated by 2 points. The first one is the daily movements for 53%, and the second one is the international travel for 35%. So we decided to work with our students with 2 projects connected to international travel, MOBILAN, and daily movement, Polytech. Polytech, it's under progress. I will give you firstly a few words about this one. Polytech, in fact, the purpose is to develop a mobile application to connect our students for carpooling on a national scale. Why is this impact is important? In fact, it's because we have a national recruitment of students in engineering degree. So we have a significant impact for commuting to and from school on weekend and vacation. And Polytech is quite interesting for different reasons, because it promotes internal carpooling, obviously back to family home, but also it fosters interdepartmental or student relationship. I remind you that we have 10 departments and with 1,400 students. It creates also a network among the students for future internship, for holidays. And the final point is, in fact, Polytech is also an answer to the request of several female students who told us that it's not easy. Sometimes it's quite complicated to travel where there's alone. You have here a figure in French explaining you that it's complicated to sometimes to travel alone when you're a girl. And here you have a snapshot of the mobile application. Here, so here you can choose the department, and then in your department you will see the geographic position of the different students of the school on the French territory. So it's possible to contact one student in one position to try to organize something. So that's the point of this application. So now I would like to move on the second project, MOBILAN. So MOBILAN, this project is dedicated to awareness concerning the emission of international travel. And in fact, MOBILAN is a mobile application developed by our students to sensitize students and school staff also to environmental impact of transport. So MOBILAN calculates your carbon emission. It advises you for the best mean of transport. And also it's important for the school because it gives us the opportunity to collect data and to have statistics of the school mobility. That means that we can envisage a next step that will be to set annual reduction targets acceptable to all stakeholders. So I would like now to give to our student Mathis Bourrat, who developed the mobile application, the opportunity to present the MOBILAN application. So Mathis, it's your turn. I stop share.
Okay, so first, good morning, everyone, and thanks to give us this opportunity to present our work. So first, I will present myself. So I'm Mathis Bourrat, and I worked on this web application MOBILAN with two other people, Félix Potier and Simon Gaillet, but they couldn't be here today for this presentation. So we choose this project because we are the generation who are really in this climate changes and in also want really to travel all around the world. But we also know that it has a cost for the planet. But obviously we really want to travel. So we will not stop travel, but maybe travel differently. So find better way to go from, for example, from Paris to Berlin or these kind of things. So we try to work on this application, and at the end, there is two main goals for this application. The first one is to make students aware of the impact of their mobilities, and the other one is more for the school to collect accurate data about the journeys for the international mobilities to make the carbon footprint, because now it's France, it start to be required for big public institution. So I will show you a bit the application. First, I will share my screen. Okay, so here you are on the website of the page, on the homepage of the website, sorry. So there is two different parts on the website. So there is like a students parts and an admin part. So on the student parts, you will be able to just simulate all your travels with different type of transport, like plane, car, electric car, or bus or train, for example. And you can choose your position. So I will make you a little demo. So if we want to go from Montpellier, so where our school is, to Paris in in car, it will give us so the emission in terms of CO2 equivalent, and it will give you also alternatives. So here I choose car, so he will say to me, I need to think about carpooling because be alone in a car, it's a bit sad, you know, and it's sad for you, but it's also sad and for the planet. And I will also tell you that you can choose better way of transport, and the best one you can see is the TGV, so high-speed train. And so maybe it will help the students to say, okay, maybe I could do better, so I will choose the TGV. And you can see it reduced by almost 100% the CO2 equivalent. So when you are logging as a student, from now it's just for Polytech Montpellier. So you can add all your international mobilities. So it could be internship or Erasmus semester, and you can link this journey. So what I just saw you before to this mobility, and it will permit to the school to calculate all the carbon footprint of the international mobilities, because as Jean-Louis just told you, it represents almost 20% of the whole carbon footprint of the school. So it's really big parts where we can work on. And it will also, you can also access to statistics about the school. So like that, all the students or the professor or the administration of the school can see what is the real impact of this international mobility, because there is a statistics page where different filters about the departments like computer science and management or material science and these kind of things, about the year of the students, about the type of mobility, semester, internship, all these kind of things. So it will help the students to say to himself, okay, so I travel, but maybe I can try to find better way to go from the point A to point B, and it will maybe help to reduce this impact. So there is also another part of this application. So this one is more for the school. So you will have access as an admin to all the data from the school, and you can export it as a CSV file, basically an Excel file, in order to have like all the data in order to use it on your carbon footprint for the calculation of the entire one of the school. So basically, the goal of this application is really to have accurate data, and first have accurate data, and secondly make students aware about this real big impact of this international mobility, because I forgot to say it, but it's required for our studies. So every student has to do this international mobility. So we think that it can help students to maybe adapt their means of transport in order to choose means of transport that are less pollutant. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Mathis, for this very nice presentation. Just to finish our presentation, I would like to share with you a video of the presentation of the Sustainable Development Approach of Polytech Montpellier, which describe, I think, quite nicely the spirit of our approach. So I share again my screen. And it will be our conclusion.
Every day at Polytech Montpellier, 1,300 students live and learn together on our campus in the south of France. The main goal of the educators is to train our students to become citizen engineers and socially minded decision makers, because these young engineers will invent tomorrow's society, turning the impossible into the feasible. We, as a higher education institution, are committed to a more responsible and more respectful society. We've been engaged in a sustainable development process for more than a decade, proving our commitment with actions. We act on the educational front by familiarizing 100% of our students with sustainable development and social responsibility issues, by teaching energy transition programs across all of our departments and throughout the entire 3-year engineering cycle, by scheduling conferences and roundtables dedicated to sustainability issues, by promoting systemically approached cross-disciplinary student projects serving sustainable development goals defined by the UN. We act on our general practices of daily operations by measuring and sharing critical information on the environmental impact of our community. Our performance is such that we received the Sustainable Development and Social Responsibility label for French higher education institutions in 2016 and again in 2020. Today, our experience allows us to nurture the spirit beyond the school's walls and to give momentum to similar initiatives, not only within the University of Montpellier, but also throughout the entire national network of the 15 Polytech schools, which have just signed a proposal for bold, network-wide sustainability charter. That's how we act, and that's the world our citizen engineers strive for.
So thank you very much for your attention. It was a pleasure to present you our sustainable approach in Polytech Montpellier.
Thank you very much, Jean-Louis and Mathis. Applause, that was great. And I really congratulate the engineering school for the vision you've had over 10 years and being able to collect the data. I think it's obvious you're engineers and you know how important data is, and for putting the emphasis on the importance of environmental impact for your students. Important for all students, but particularly important for engineering students, of course. I wanted to ask, because it's very impressive to have that data about the amount of teaching and across the other disciplines. And wanted to ask how easy or challenging it was, or it is, to coordinate across disciplines and to capture sort of similar data.
It's very difficult because the point is that if you want to build something which is robust, which will be here for years, people ask to be part of the project. And I think that the most difficult point is that, the most difficult point is that we have, So the most difficult point is that we have to build a commission to speak with people, to try to build a common consciousness, the consciousness of the problem, to build together the solution. And in fact, to do that, if you want to have something which is more transversal, because for me it's a key point. The key point is not to have a specific course in one department, but we have a transversal approach of the training concerning sustainable development. And since in this case, it takes a lot of time because we have to share things. That's why we have a commission working on this point during the year.
Yeah, it is a challenge. It's our experience as well. But you're showing the way in what you're doing, and in inspiring other disciplines and inspiring other universities as well. So thank you for sharing that with us, and particularly to Mathis for sharing his work and the work of his team. I think from looking at the comments coming in, it stimulated a lot of interest because it's so well developed and looks so so valuable. So we're running a little short on time, but just to I think there's some very specific questions coming into Mathis about whether it calculates round trips, for example, if a student comes back for holidays during their international mobility.
So yeah, so basically in this version, so this kind of trip during this internship, so if students want, I don't know, to visit another country, it will not take it into account because at the beginning it was more, you know, for have the data for the carbon footprint of the school, and this kind of trip is not taking into account for the school because it's more like privacy or personal moving. But at the end, yeah, the goal is to have really complete data. So we can imagine to have maybe like all the daily move, like the travel between work to home and these kind of things.
That's great. And as I know, as Elise mentioned yesterday, that the Montpellier has created an e-learning module on carbon footprint, and that's going to be obligatory for all students to take that as well. So I can see the joining up of efforts there. That's great. So most of the other comments are about how do we learn more, how do, you know, and demonstrate your work wider and be inspired by it. So and through the UNI-ECO project, this being highlighted as a best practice will be very valuable for that dissemination as well. So I think I'll leave it there, and thank you very, very much for that. Thank you, Jean-Louis and Mathis.
Thank you. We will put the link for the video, the mail of Mathis. I see in the chat there's a lot of questions. We will answer the question in a few minutes.
Fantastic. I see they're coming in already. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, bye.